Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Co-host is here today, Mr. Cantu. How we doing?
Good. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back as well. Episode 136, we're going to give the recaps of the ALDS Game 1 and Game 2. We'll give you that Game 3 preview as well. We'll talk about Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker. Those guys got to get going in that lineup if the Astros are going to want to get to the ultimate goal. Have a little bit of notes for you for Game 3, and then we give you our keys to the game for Game 3. But other than that, Angel, I mean, how are you describing these two games so far that the Astros have been playing against the Twins?
I don't know. It's a little nerve wracking, is what I want to say. It's because I guess people don't know which Astros they're going to get. Now, I want to give hats off to Pablo Lopez because that was an epic pitching performance. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's really not much you can do. But the Astros had opportunities. They had runners on scoring position. They just could not capitalize. But it just depends which Astros you're getting. Are you getting the game one Astros where they capitalize on those opportunities, or are you getting the game two Astros where they just get slumped on the plate? But again, having to face Bailey Ober compared to Pablo Lopez, that is a different story. And Pablo Lopez did a wonderful job. So the Astros will look to rally back.
Yeah, I mean, this guy said pressure is a privilege at his press conference. And sure enough, I mean, both games, they had the roof open for Game 2. I don't think it really mattered.
Hmm.
Game 1 is they had the roof closed. But the atmospheres, I would say, in these games, it just doesn't feel like playoff baseball in Houston. In my opinion, it just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like the 2017 year that the Astros went against the Red Sox in the ALDS and the ALCS, and including the World Series. And even in 2015, when the Astros hadn't made the playoffs over 10 years, just doesn't feel the same. The energy is not there when the Astros are not hitting or they're not doing too good. The fans just, to me, in my this is my opinion, just doesn't feel like they're there. They're you pay good money for those good seats. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people outside of the stadium that would love to be in your position to be in there to cheer for the guys, I believe. But my opinion, like I said, I know what your take is on it, but I feel like if there is going to be a game 5 in this ALDS, the fans got to come back and I'd say bring more energy into the ballpark for the Astros.
No, I agree with you there. I think like the only time the crowds and the fans was loud is when something good happened. Instead of like trying to pick up the players out. Like for example, there's a mistake on the field. Well, pick them up. Like players feed
Mhm.
off that. And when the energy's not there, sometimes the energy on the field's not there either.
Yeah, definitely. But like we were talking about, the series is a split. Now it's the best of 3. Whoever wins 2 games moves on to the ALCS, and right now the ALDS, as we're recording on Monday night, it is the Rangers 2 and the Baltimore Orioles 0. Astros 1, Twins 1. Obviously, if the Rangers win one game in Arlington and that's all they need, they move on to the ALCS. So, Andrew, you want to give us these recaps of this ALDS of Game 1 and Game 2? Because I mean, offense, what you were saying, the offense was there, and then the second game, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like those Berman 3 minutes where he goes over the football plays. I don't know if you've seen that. So, uh, recaps for the ALDS game one and game two. Well, game one started off with a bang. Jose Altuve leadoff bomb, first pitch of the game, and this was prior to last season. He did not get a single RBI nor much less a home run
Mhm.
in last year's postseason. Well, how does he kick it off with a first pitch fastball? He takes it deep into the Crawford boxes. That was his 24th career postseason home run. He is five shy of Manny Ramirez, who has 29. Jordan Alvarez continued to impress. He left off where from last season, where he gave the Astros crucial home runs, and they were needed because if you saw later in the game, the Twins needed back to back home runs to almost catch up. So all that
Yeah.
Jordan offense was needed. Two home runs with three RBIs as well. And then a great pitching performance by JV. He did a really amazing job. 16 pitch, four hits, zero earned runs, three walks, six strikeouts, and then 93 pitches for 55 strikes. And honestly, on my end, I was thinking about maybe having Framber start first, but now I agree with Dusty's decision after seeing that because he really like that. Knowing how game two went, that was a much needed win
Yeah.
for yeah for game one because then it could have been like the Orioles situation or even Atlanta right now, as we speak, they're losing 3-0 so to the Phillies. So yeah, game one was important, and that was the seventh straight um, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the seventh consecutive ALDS game one win as well. So,
Yeah.
any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I believe I saw a stat that said 10 consecutive wins at Minute Maid Park in the ALDS.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the last loss had been in 2015 with the Royals. If you remember that game, if I remember that one in the back of my head. I remember where I was at that time too, when Correa had missed that ball at short, and I mean the Royals had a rally. After that, the Royals won, and they were the 2015 World Series champs. But but yeah, I mean that was what like you were saying, seventh consecutive game one win. I mean it's pretty historical too. I don't think there's any other organization that has been that far with ALDS games as the Astros have.
Well, like how you mentioned, Correa was the cause. I guess you can say the cause of that 2015 loss. Well, Correa was the cause for the game two ALDS game two loss for the Astros. Because honestly, the offense couldn't do anything going against Pablo Lopez. Again, a masterful pitching performance. 1 for 7 winners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Pablo Lopez finished the line with 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 105 pitches, 69 strikes, and 22 first pitch strikes. I think there was a like a trend where he had thrown like I think 12, 13 consecutive first pitch strikes. I think like the only one that was Altuve. I think that was the first at bat. But other than that,
Hmm.
he was on a row. And then Carlos Correa, again, he was a big factor. And I just kind of knew uh, Carlos Correa, big game moment. I know Lorenzo texted me off air when when I had bases loaded, 1 out, and he told me I think we need to take Framber out. I was like, you know what? I don't think so because that's your best ground ball pitcher right there. But Correa,
Debatable.
yeah,
Debatable.
Correa, energized with the big moments. And honestly, I think the crowd, Houston's crowd, fed into that as well by booing him. And there's no reason.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason for that. Honestly, yeah, I get it. He's in a different team, but I feel like it's still respectable what Carlos Correa did for the Astros and for defending the Astros as well. After that,
Hmm.
um, I guess you can say as they were scapegoated by the Major League Baseball. So I think hats off to Correa. I don't think uh, booing is appropriate, especially I think he feeds off that as well. But Framber Valdez was not sharp at all. That's what I was saying. It's big that Verlander pitched that first game. 4 and a third with 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And this is one of the factors. I'm gonna give you a little glimpse of what's coming. But his command was all over the place. He was missing in the zone, hanging curveballs, sinkers that weren't sinking. It was just leaving like lots of stuff in the plate.
Yeah, I mean Ryan Jefferson's ball. It was supposed to be a low inside pitch, and sure
Yeah,
enough, it was just high, right, almost right down the middle, inside. Obviously took it to the Crawford boxes. I mean, he was just missing.
Farmer.
Oh, Kyle Farmer. Sorry about
Yeah,
that. Yeah. But I mean, just missing out of the zone. Um, Credit to the blue wasn't really great behind home plate for both sides, I would say. Astros and Twins. If Correa had the moment right there. First inning, Bregman was already hollering at home plate.
yeah,
At the end, Kyle Tucker could have got on and kind of started a little rally. Blue had other decision and called a strike. Tucker strikes out, starts yelling at the blue after getting runged up. But I mean, yeah, Correa, everybody in Houston knows that this guy, like you were saying, he feeds off these moments. He lives in the spotlight, especially in the postseason in October. But the booing, and let me add on just a little bit to that. You know what the Astros do, with guys like Altuve, especially when they boo him, it just gets him going. It just makes him start hitting the ball more. It just terrorizes the other team. And that's what Correa did right there because you remember the first game, there wasn't that many boos out there. Second game, you could hear more of the boo birds coming out. And the game that he had 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs,
yeah.
it's crazy. And then now the momentum shifts to Minnesota. The home crowd over there is going to be ecstatic. Real quick, if I could find it on my phone because I did have it here,
About what?
but I guess I don't have it. But Rocco Baldelli and Royce Lewis had said
Mm,
the atmosphere in Houston wasn't as loud as in Minnesota.
yeah,
Got to remember too, Minnesota hasn't had a playoff win in a good while. The last playoff game they had They had it in 2020, but obviously that was a COVID year, and fans weren't allowed to the ball games. So Minnesota was going to be rocking. It just, like Correa said, it reminds you of the 2015 Astros, the first time that the Astros fans have saw playoff baseball since 2005. So
And I was with the roof closed in game one too. Like even in game
yeah,
one, it wasn't as loud.
yeah, it wasn't. So by all means, maybe when the Astros go to Minnesota, they start booing the Astros. Obviously, I'm pretty sure I'm 100% sure they're gonna be booing those guys out there, and maybe the Astros feed off of it because they've
Which
been doing that every year.
which makes no sense because they have Correa on their team, but that's
It is what it is. They did that when Springer did that when the Blue Jays had come into town.
hmm
But I mean, the Astros though too, you did a great job ending the season on the road 5-1. You got to find a way to carry that on. That at least that momentum from that visiting series in Seattle and Arizona, figure a way out to close it in Minnesota. And we'll talk about Game 3 and Game 4 starters in a minute, um, but yeah, I mean, like you said, Angel, credit to Pablo Lopez. The thing I'm really kind of disappointed about the Astros weren't doing too good besides Altuve because everybody knows Altuve swings that first pitch. They weren't aggressive. They weren't aggressive at getting that first pitch fastball or that first pitch changeup. And in the last podcast, I said that's going to be his bread and butter. If he can locate that fastball and locate that changeup, he's going to get you one way or the other. 22 first pitch strikes, got to do a better job at that.
I
But
agree.
you got anything else to add on real quick? Correa did tied David Justice with
hmm
63 career postseason RBIs, all time third on the list, past Derek Jeter and David Ortiz, who had 61. So
And, it,
pretty good.
and it's in counting too, because I'm sure the Twins are going to be in the postseason maybe next year and the
Oh
years
yeah,
to come. So lots of opportunities to move up on that in the record books.
definitely. Real quick, we'll talk about Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman. Like we were talking about in the beginning, they got to get going. They have to find a way to get going in this lineup. Yes, Jose Abreu needs to as well, but the stars on this team that's been there in the postseason so many times have been Alex Bregman and have been Kyle Tucker. Bregman had a great postseason last year. He had over 300. This series so far, he's 1 for 6. That's a 167 batting average. He's had one hit by pitch, one walk, two strikeouts. In his last 7 games, he's 7 for 30 with a 233 batting average, a 281 on base percentage, with one home run, two RBIs, two walks, four strikeouts. Obviously, the home run and the two RBIs came from Arizona. Kyle Tucker, on the other hand, this guy had a great month coming off of June and July. You remember he was up there at least being the top 3 in the AL MVP voting. And after that month, going to August and September, he just kind of, went downhill. 1 for 7 this series so far, has one double, one walk, three strikeouts. Month of September, just to add on more stat lines on this, 233 batting average. That was the worst average in the single month of this season he has had. He had a 333 on base percentage, 21 hits, which are the least amount of hits in that month as well in the season, and 14 RBI, second lowest RBI production in that month of the season. If you look at his at bats, Angel, he looks like he's trying to just pull the ball as hard as he can, try to look like he's trying to put it into the stands, flying out a lot and swinging excessively, swinging and missing excessively as well. He has to make an adjustment in some way or the other because if you remember the beginning of the season and even the second half, he was hitting the ball to the other side. And Kyle Tucker hasn't done that in a good while. If I remember looking at the games recently from down the stretch of September, I have hardly seen him take the ball the other way. And usually he is one of the best at doing that in this lineup. Same thing with Alex Bregman as well. It just doesn't feel like he's so aggressive at the ball, not hitting that first pitch, which is understandable because he's not that type of hitter to swing at the first pitch. And if he does, he makes some solid contact. But recently with Breggs, I mean, obviously it's either a pop fly, there's a runner on first like Altuve is, see a high percentage chance of him hitting into a double play because he's hitting a lot into double plays this season for the Astros. So what do you think that these guys got to get going? Because You can't rely on Jose Altuve. That guy's going to be your table setter, and he's been doing a great job this series. Yordan Alvarez, 5 RBIs this series, game one and game two. Remind you, the Astros have scored 6 runs and 2 runs in the second game. That's 8 RBIs. 5 of them are coming from Alvarez. What do you think that these two got to do to get going and help this club? Because game three, I'd say it's a must win.
Yeah, I think they be a little bit more aggressive. I think they're falling behind in counts where like they're already down 1-0, 1 strike 0 balls, and I think they're just trying to battle back and be like a little bit more on the defensive end. Like I know Bregman has a good eye on the strike zone, but like sometimes it's not there. Like the umpire from yesterday, like you said, it was like he was terrible. But sometimes that like into their heads a little bit. Both Tucker and Bregman started like just settling down. I would say just like fastball, if it's there, we'll take a whack at it. Like don't want like I'm like trying not to get deep into counts because that's when they tend to struggle a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see like if when they get ahead of the count, what their splits are like on a 1-0, 0-1 kind of thing. Usually Fangraphs has it. I haven't even pulled it up.
I got you. Hold up.
When they're yeah, I got Tucker. You could look at Bregman. Let me talk about Tucker real quick. When Tucker's on a 1-0 count, he's has a batting average of 256. When he has a hitter's count like a 2-1, he is hitting a 303. Same thing with the 2-2 count, 282, 3-1 count, 302. Obviously, with a 3-0 count, he has the green light. He has a 409 batting average. The lowest one you would say is with the count being in a 1-2, which is a 220 average, and the count being 2-0. 2-0, he's at a 233. So, yeah, maybe they need to be more aggressive instead of trying to be behind the count. Do something.
Yeah.
Obviously,
So
make them put pressure on the pitcher.
yeah, with Bregman, it's kind of the same scenario. So when he's 0-1, 238. When he's 2-2, 250, 1-2, 188, and 0-2, 196. So a bunch of in the ones. And actually, when he's 3-0, he's 167 as well. So, but 3-1,
Wow.
244, 3-2, 255. But when he gets into those 2-0, 1-0 counts is when he's, or 2-1 counts, that's when he's at his best. So 2-0, 257, 1-0, 269, and then 2-1, 287, which is 285, which is his highest. So that's what I'm saying. Like, be a little aggressive in that point and try not to fall behind because it's, you know, history shows that that's when they struggle the most.
Exactly. So, I mean, let's get some notes from game for game three in the press conference. The Astros have their workout day Monday. Obviously, the Astros play on Tuesday at 3:07. We'll give you that preview here in a minute. But some tweets from Brian McTaggart, and this is from his X account, Twitter account, whatever you want to call it. He said Dusty Baker said they're wrestling with a couple of guys to start game four, which means JP France or Jose Urquidy. To add on to that, Do-Young Park is the Twins beat writer for MLB.com. He said Dustin Baker won't use Justin Verlander on short rest for game four. How do you feel about either JP France or Jose Urquidy going in a game four situation with the Astros either being up, 2-1 or 1-2?
I would say why not use both? You have kind of like the little split, like how again, like um, referring back to McCullers and Morton when they would go back to back. So like, to me, it doesn't matter who's starting. Both guys have shown that they're capable of starting. Like JP France again had a great like good rookie of the year numbers, and Jose Urquidy's last start was very on short notice was very promising as well. So I mean, I like it. I I would go with Jose Urquidy starting off just because of that experience pitching in the postseason, and then
Mhm.
having JP France follow up. I think that would be a good recipe for success.
I agree. The only thing that makes me concerned is obviously going to be Cristian Javier starting the game tomorrow for game three. You don't want to use a lot of your bullpen pieces, I'd say. So I'm kind of leaning towards why not maybe putting JP France in the piggyback situation for Cristian Javier.
Could be.
I like to use that, and I would like to be guaranteed a win instead. I mean, you could still use your bullpen too. Don't get me wrong, because obviously you're gonna have to use your high leverage relievers, which is crazy that Hector Neris got lit up in that game one. I was very shocked about that. But real quick, looking at JP France, he only has one relief appearance. He went 3 1/3. He allowed 3 hits. He only gave up 1 run, 0 of them being earned. He could be a possibility kind of guy to be in that relief role after that. It just depends on Cristian Javier's start. Are you going to get Cristian Javier that goes 6? Just depends.
Yeah, and then both guys have faced the Minnesota Twins. Actually, I'm gonna get at the numbers right now. Jose Urquidy has better numbers. He has an 0-0 win-loss record against them, but he has a 2.93 ERA. That's with 15 innings pitched, 14 hits, 5 earned runs, uh, 2 walks, and 17 strikeouts. So they whip at 1.004. So again, good numbers. Whereas compared to JP France, I know it's a rookie, small sample size. So again, he's an 0-0 record. He has an ERA of 6. He only thrown 6 innings, but he allowed 4 earned runs. He walked 3, and then he struck out 8. So again, that's only one start for JP France, but Jose Urquidy does have the better numbers.
Yeah, I'd say use, obviously you're going to have to put Cristian Javier, which Cristian Javier has done good. When he's in this spot, I feel like he does good. And I feel like he's like a Pablo Lopez. Like the pressure on him doesn't really give him anything. He's El Reptil for a reason. He's calm, collective, all that other stuff. But when, the season that he's had, honestly, you got to keep, I'd say, a starter just there just in case. I don't know if you want to use Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown did have 1 inning in Minnesota against Minnesota that game 2 of the last in the 9th inning. But I would lean towards maybe I say use Cristian Javier for game 4, but I would lean kind of on JP France just in case for game 3. Maybe use 2 innings out of him. Because obviously game 3 is going to be very important. I feel like, to me, in my opinion, my thought, whoever wins game 3 is going to win the series. Just like that, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I can see that happening with JP France pitching in Game 3 and like a backup role um for Cristian Javier. But it would make sense because again, like you said, Hunter Brown just pitched 1 inning, so he can do that same thing for Jose Urquidy if need be, right? But again, this bullpen has been great so far, so I think they're more than capable of like to hold the game down. But it's just like you don't want to waste too many bullets as well, because
Yeah.
again because it's gonna be a long and treacherous postseason. If the Astros advance, again they have a more uh, stronger matchup as well with the Orioles or the Rangers. But yeah, I mean I can see that happening. I think Jose Urquidy starts game 4, and then maybe JP France used as a bullpen piece, but we'll see which game.
Yeah, you got to be smart with situations like that. Obviously, um, like you're going back real quick to game 2 when Framber Valdez went against Carlos Correa, and like I was telling you, I was like, I don't know about this matchup. Framber does get the ground ball, but at the same time too, he's kind of been struggling. I think Phil Mayton with that frisbee curveball or sweeper slider, whatever you want to call it, I think that could have been, good to maybe get Correa to chase, maybe pop up, something like that, and make it a 1-run RBI situation, then a 2 RBI kind of thing from Correa. So that's my thoughts. At the end of the day, game 2 is already out the way. I'm looking just in case. Game 5 will be on Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday is game 3 and game 4. Game 5, if necessary, will be on a Friday. So
And then Pablo Lopez will pitch game 5. Is
yeah,
what? Yeah. So
it'll be looking, if necessary, it will be looking like it's going to be Pablo Lopez and Justin Verlander for game 5. But getting too ahead of ourselves right here because game 3 is the must win. And let's get that preview going of the ALDS game 3 matchup on Tuesday. It's a 3:07 start time. You got Cristian Javier on the mound, like we were talking about. He'll be going against Sonny Gray. That guy's been in the ALS for a while. Obviously, he's had some stints with different teams, but Minnesota, it looks like it's been a good home for him. And let's real quick talk about Cristian Javier. Last outing against Arizona, 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Very promising start right there. Very promising. And then you remember, it's not really a pressure kind of thing because the Astros got their ticket punched to the 2023 postseason, but he knew he had to pitch very well for a chance to clinch the AL West and obviously gain that second seed. Obviously, too, if you remember the World Series, Astros and Phillies were tied in the series 2-2, game 5. He pitched a gem. And obviously, it was the combined no hitter, first combined no hitter in World Series history. So I feel like like the pressure with Pablo Lopez that he has whenever he goes into a ball game. I feel the same way about Cristian Javier. It's just like we were saying, it's just been a different month for this kid, but hasn't faced Minnesota this year. And for me, Angel, for Javier, and I feel like I can speak for both of us. It starts with command. If he gets the command going in that invisible, that fastball that sells high, it has to be working for him. If he could give you 6 innings of, I even say 3 earned runs, I'll take it. That's a good start, I would say. But on the other hand, too, the offense has to do their job. But if Cristian Javier could give you at least 6 innings, I think it's a great start in the books. Just
Yeah.
like that.
Honestly, I would even take five scoreless innings as well because he's been struggling with
Yeah.
command as well. But so because he's been struggling at command, that means just people on base. So if he can have a scoreless outing, I think that's a plus for the Astros as well.
Yeah, I just say limit the walks. Let's make sure that you don't like Javier doesn't have his pitch count to like 80 something with 4 innings because that's gonna make Dusty get his bullpen going. And like I said, the situation right there, you can use another starter or you can use another reliever. So just depending on that, but that's I believe for us is just going to be the command for Javier. And then Sonny Gray, on the other hand, his last outing versus Toronto, 5 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He did throw 85 pitches, 55 of them were strikes. Real quick on the strikeouts, 4 strikeouts were on the sweeper. One coming from the four-seam fastball and one coming from the curveball. He was throwing strikes against this Toronto team, and Angel, I mean, that Blue Jays offense is no joke. You have guys like Springer, you have guys like Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. That lineup is stacked. But Sonny Gray did a great job. On the other end, too, with Toronto, they just struggled with runners in scoring position. So credit to, not really even credit to them, but it was a hint on them. The last 2 starts versus Houston, because Sonny Gray has pitched against the Astros this season. April 7, he had a no decision. Give you the stat real quick: 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. 98 pitches, 61 were strikes. 34 curveballs, 22 sliders, 18 sinkers, 16 four-seamers, 6 cutters, 2 changeups. The next start, May 29, which that was the day I got married, which is interesting. No decision in that one. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. This was at Minute Maid Park. He did throw 79 pitches, 46 of them were strikes. This one was a little different. 23 were four-seam fastballs, which was the top pitch. 21 were sinkers. 14 were sweepers, which in that first start, you didn't see a sweeping action out of anything. 10 cutters, 8 curveballs, 3 changeups. So to me, if I'm a hitter, I'm taking away the changeup. First start, he only threw 2. The second start, he only threw 3. So take away that pitch because this guy has a lot of pitches in his arsenal. Curveball, his first start, that was the most, 34. Second start, he threw 8. He's going to keep you off balance. His off-speed pitches are really good. Sweeper, slider, curveball. And Yainer, I didn't even mention Yainer Diaz is going to be starting in game 3. I thought I had mentioned that.
Yeah.
Real quick, he will be starting game 3 as the DH. Michael Brantley will be starting game 4 and game 5 if necessary in the DH role. But you got guys like Yainer that likes to swing and chase. Jose Altuve has a tendency to do that, but he does lay off with some of them. Jerry Payne has done a great job kind of, holding off on the slider or sweeper. But if it's like right in that outside corner, there's a great possibility he's going to chase. So, Angel, he does have a home record, 4-5, 2.67 ERA, which is pretty good as well. What are the Astros going to have to do to kind of get this veteran pitcher off balance? I mean, I'd say they got to strike first, but what do you think? What does this offense have to do?
Yeah, I agree. They have to strike first, but they have to lay off the sweeper. I'm gonna give you some stats right here, and it's like video game numbers. For the off-speed breaking pitch, he's at 99 run value, which is like, I'm sorry, the 99 percentile, which is
Oh, okay.
amazing.
Mhm.
His batting average on the sweeper, opponent batting average on the sweeper, guess what it is?
I feel like it's a 180.
97.
Wow,
97
0.97.
0.97 with a whiff rate of 41.3%.
Man,
Now, the fastball, which is again the pitch he throws the most, the batting average is 301. So again, lay off the sweepers, jump on the fastball. Is I feel like I'm on a broken record of jumping on the fastball because that's honestly the best pitch to hit. Like
mhm.
especially like when they're not hitting their spots, right? So and then it doesn't get prettier than that. I mean, like you said, the changeup, he doesn't really throw it. He throws it more to left-handed hitters. He's throwing it to right-handed hitters 10 times, left-handed hitters 178 times. The same thing with the curveball. If you're right-handed, you might get it every once in a while. 166 times for right-handed hitters, but 310 for left-handed hitters. So I feel like when he has the lefty on the mound, he tries to mix in more of his stuff. Whereas if it's right-hander, he has two pitches, sinker, fastball, I'm sorry, three pitches, sinker, fastball, and sweepers. What you're gonna get. But a good note to point out as well. Yeah, his fastball is the most thrown pitch, but he's thrown it to right-handers 272 times, where and then he's thrown the sinker to right-handers 395 times. So if
Wow.
you're so yeah, so like your sitting speed, like is you're gonna be sinker fastball, but he's gonna try to finish you off with that sweeper, and it's a good one. And just to make things a little bit more complicated for the Astros, Sonny Gray loves pitching in target field. Um, he has a 9-10 record overall, 2.83 ERA career wise at target
Wow.
field. So I mean, it's not going to be easy, but they're the defending champs for a reason, and I think if like as long as they stick to their game plan, they should be good.
That's just amazing, the sweeper, because the first game I didn't even say sweeper. He didn't even pitch one. He didn't pitch that pitch at all in the first
It,
game,
it might have been the
and that was with
slider.
13, and that was 13. Oh well, yeah, maybe,
It might have been the slider. Yeah.
yeah, maybe. MLB didn't get it right.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing, MLB? Come on, got to get it right.
Because I
We
don't see
can't
a
be confusing
slider.
us.
Because I don't see a slider out in here. I just see sweeper.
So what's his arsenal? How many pitches does he have?
So
If you I don't mind asking.
he throws six. He has a four seam fastball, which is he's throwing it 27.2% of the time, mostly the left handed hitters.
Hmm.
Sweeper, curveball, sinker, cutter, and a changeup.
So yeah, that like I was saying, that cutter and that changeup. If I'm a hitter, I'm not kind of looking for that pitch. And it's always been like a baseball saying, though, you know, always you're going to look for the fastball, adjust to the off speed.
Yeah.
It's like the typical number one rule when you're playing baseball, in middle school or high school or even in college. It's like the number one thing because obviously the fastball, he's going to have to throw it. He's going to have to throw it for a strike. For Alvarez, to me, with the four seamer, lay off the high one, man, because
Yeah.
he was striking out. He struck out twice, I believe, when Pablo Lopez threw that pitch up there upstairs. So
Yeah.
I
And
have
then
to see.
and then for right handers, like he's trying to have like counter movement. Like for right handers, like he's gonna come in with the sinker and cutter. Or like he throws most right handers like a lot more, and then finishing off with the sweeper. Whereas with a lefty, like he's trying to mix in more of his stuff. Like with a lefty, he comes in more with a curveball, changeup, and forcing fastball. So like again, it's just different looks for different hitters.
Yeah, I mean he's a capable pitcher. He's the second best pitcher on that team. Obviously Pablo Lopez is that number one guy, that ace for them, but he's the number two guy, and he's done a pretty phenomenal job for the Twins all year. I mean, look at that ERA. I think he had an under 3 ERA, second lowest in the American League. I think Garrett Cole has number one in that category. So got to get the crowd out of it too. Game 3, it's going to be very crucial. And let's give out our keys to the game real quick, Angel. The Astros offense has to strike first. Get the crowd out of it. Astros are 65-22 when they score first. This is the 2023 season. Opponents scoring first, then the Astros, 26-51. So it's not a pretty good number. And Astros have a strong number when they score first. So obviously you're going to be the visiting team. Put the pressure on them. My next one, hit. Simple. I don't have to go into big detail. You just got to hit. Astros are 68-19 when they out-hit their opponent. When the opponent out-hits Houston, they're 15-48. Be aggressive. I mean, think about it too, Angel. They did a great job against Luis Castillo, capitalizing over there at T-Mobile Park, and that was the first game. Same thing in Arizona. You had Zach Gallen. Give credit, Gallen was doing all right, but the Astros finally got to him when Jose Abreu hit that 2 RBI double. Put the pressure on these starting pitchers. Get them out because it's going to be very crucial. Whoever wins Game 3, I'd say is going to win the series.
And I agree with you then. So that's why it's important for my keys to the games to be command, command, command. We saw what the Twins did to Framber Valdez, whose command was off, again, leaving stuff right out in the middle of the plate, and they got to him for 4 or 5 runs. But Cristian Javier is another guy who's been struggling with command all season. Yes, he showed glimpses recently of getting back together, but he still throws a lot of pitches.
Mhm.
And again, a part of the reason why he throws a lot of pitches is because he's falling behind in counts. Well, let me give you some stats. When he falls behind 3-0, opponent batting average is 320, when an on base percentage of 585, almost 600. When he falls behind 3-1, opponent batting average is 267, on base percentage of 551, again, close to the 600 figures. When he falls behind 2-0, 280. So again, and then those are contra numbers. When he's 0-2, opponent batting average of 174. When he's 1-2, opponent batting average of 214. When he's 2-2, opponent batting average of 162. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I just think if he has his command, like it's a different Cristian Javier when he's able to locate the fastball and come in with the breaking stuff, or even get hitters out with the invisible, as like as people like to say, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be a big thing. Again, just like speaking to your point about his like the bullpen issues. Yes, the bullpen's been great, but we don't want to tax him early on because
Yeah.
but they have to win what 10 more games, like in order to win a World Series,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these games are going to be a high leverage situation. So that's a little bit it may not seem it, but that's a little bit more taxing on the player as well. But again, scoreless 5 innings or even 6 strong for Cristian Javier, that would be key for the Astros.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna have to do. Honestly, that gives the Astros good, I'd say, good advantage throughout the whole game. But two, Cristian Javier could do his job. The Astros offense has to do their job. That's unbelievable that Alvarez has 5 RBIs out of the 8 runs the Astros have scored these first 2 games.
Yeah.
Somebody has to step up, and that's why we had the segment earlier in the episode. Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker. Guys got to step up. 19, Alex
Even a
Bregman has
Brave.
to get, even Abreu too. Yeah, he needs to get going. A lot of these guys got to find a way because Altuve and Alvarez can't do it all, honestly. They just can't. Alvarez is your table setter. He's going to get on base for you. And then Alvarez is going to be the not cleanup hitter, but 3-hole, close to cleanup. But he's going to, do whatever he can to give you that RBI production. So gotta find a way. Gotta find a way for both ends to compromise me in the middle because crucial. No, real quick, we have that voting that we had.
I do have one thing before we move on to that, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
What do you think of Dusty Baker giving Michael Brantley a day off and Yainer Diaz DH'ing
Mm-hmm.
and still starting Marty Manaro at catcher? What's your input on that?
Honestly, not a big fan of it.
Me neither.
I'm
Me
not.
neither.
You have a lefty. You have 3 lefties against this right-handed pitcher. I don't know if you had set the splits of Sonny Gray's right-hand and left-hand splits. I know I didn't.
Let me find it real quick.
Michael Brantley is one of the purest here. He has a 280-something batting average right now. You're putting a rookie onto this platform, in the postseason, which obviously you need to get through it. But at the same time, too, this game right here is very crucial. Very, 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 very crucial. You got to win this game in order to have a better chance at winning the rest. And then Michael Brantley has a career batting average against Sonny Gray, 300. 300 just flat like that. I'm sorry. They're it just I like Yainer Diaz because he is a great hitter, but at the same time too, we did see him in that high leverage pressure situation in Seattle where he swung at every pitch out of the zone, and it didn't fit right with me. I'd rather have Michael Brantley, who's been in there. And then the thing is too, I wonder if because Brantley had said he had no limitations, no nothing like that, that he was 100% ready to go. He has a day off on this
Uh,
Monday.
yeah.
So why are we not starting him for game 3, the most crucial game of this series, in the lineup that's been very good? I mean, he's had a hit in every game.
Okay.
So why is he not playing?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I saw that. I'm just like, wow, you're gonna sacrifice Michael Brantley so Martin Maldonado can be behind the plate when I think Yainer Diaz is more than capable of being behind the plate and to limit the runners and to limit the stolen bases because Martin Maldonado leads the league in pass balls and he's a lot like his uh caught stealing percentage is very low compared to Yainer Diaz. Okay, yes, I do I remember that series where he swung at every pitch, but if you saw his at bat, I think that was one of the first times he didn't swing at the first pitch. He
Really?
yeah, he was at a 1-0 count. Like he didn't swing. Now, those are those are basically growing pains. Those are lessons, right? He's been honestly the best offensive catcher the Astros had this season. So why not give him that opportunity to prove himself in the AOD as well? I don't know. Maybe it's a big home run or a clutch RBI, right? But but put him on there. Give him on the field where it's like I don't understand. Okay, I'm going on a rant here, but I don't understand why Dusty Baker's so inclined to have Martin Maldonado. Okay, I get it. I get the the baseball knowledge he has, right? But that's kind of like saying that Yainer Diaz doesn't have that. Okay, yeah, it comes with experience, but Yainer Diaz has been playing baseball for a long time too. So I'm sure, or he can coach him in the dugout, okay, this is what I saw, why not be that coachable moment, right? Like these three batters are up next. You should do this, right? It, what that can be a part. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like you said, sacrificing the offense to have one catcher catching that hasn't been really good offensively.
Yeah. I feel like Baker's probably comfortable using Maldi in the catching situation. Maldi's catched obviously Justin Verlander, who Verlander prefers. Framber prefers Maldonado as well. I don't know how many times Cristian Javier and Yainer Diaz has, played pitch and catch this season, but I agree. I think Michael Brantley does need to be in this lineup. There
Yeah,
is no way this one day off. You're telling me that he needs 2 days off to get going? If he just said in the media that he was 100%
yeah,
ready to go, no limits, no nothing like that, mm, I don't know. I'm kind of wishing I was that little bug, on the wall to hear these conversations to see, like, hey, we're going to go with Yainer Diaz in the DH, Michael Brantley, we're going to give you the day off, and then the next, things like that. You could use Yainer Diaz in a pitch hitting situation, but
yeah,
to me, you need Michael Brantley, the most consistent, most professional hitter in the game. He went 4 for 5. 4 for 5 his first game back in Seattle, and that was 10 days of rest. He needs to be in the lineup.
mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
just it's obviously we're not the managers, we're not the coaches, but it's our opinion, our thoughts, things like that. But yeah, very interesting to. I wonder if somebody asked that too. We'll just have to see. But real quick, let's go with our poll that we had asked on Monday. We said how everyone's feeling about the Astros after 2 games. We had confident, eh, so, or nervous. 41% of you had said confident, 44, eh, so, and then 15% said nervous. Angel, how are we feeling after the games that the Astros had played in Minute Maid Park? I mean, how are we feeling?
I'll
What you're leaning
say
towards?
in the middle. So because again, we saw the two types of Astros we've seen all season. One that can have an great offensive production, but one where they struggle to score runs, and then the starting pitching. Again, you had your basically the Astros have two aces, Verlander and Framber, and one of them could not finish the job. So I don't know. I'll stay in the middle.
I think Astros fans were shocked that Framber couldn't get game 2.
Yeah.
I was, even me personally, I thought Framber was going to pitch a good game. 6 innings, quality start kind of deal, but give credit to the Twins offense. They got to him, things like that. Real quick, that Astros guy on Twitter said, depends on what happens next. We lose game 3 and it's over. I don't know if it's over, but I'm not feeling great after if the Astros lose game 3. Another Twitter guy, Get G97. This team hasn't been consistent all year. Hard to tell. Very hard to tell. I agree. The offense have been inconsistent at times. You get, like you were saying, Angel, you'll get the Astros offense of 8+ runs, and then the next day you get a goose egg or 2 runs at most. And then last but not least, Reed Landry, he said a little bit of all 3. I think almost every Astro fan is feeling like that. So it's going to be a crucial game for the Astros. Like I said, it's 3:07 start time. If you're listening to this in the morning, we got the preview going. If you're listening to this in the evening, look at the keys to the game. This is our keys to the game. I think I'm pretty sure everybody could agree. If Cristian Javier's command is well done, gives you good innings of baseball, 5 scoreless or 6 scoreless. Astros offense strikes first. Astros out-hit the Twins. You're in the driver's seat for game 4. Because game 4, you're probably looking at Joe Ryan for the Twins. Since he hasn't pitched in a while, Angel. It's almost 2 weeks, I think he's pitched. So
which could be advantage Astros.
Exactly.
If they win game 3.
Oh, I think the Twins saw that with Framber, which Framber didn't pitch about a week and a half. But his last start was against the Seattle Mariners. So it could be advantage Astros, but they got to win game 3 first. Try to quiet Correa down. Correa's had a good postseason so far. Find a way to cool him off. If you cool him off, you cool Royce Lewis off too, I think you're in good hands. I honestly think you're in good hands if you could cool them 2 guys off being offensively.
Yeah, I think so too.
But other than that, that is the end of our show. Andrew, you got anything else before we sign off?
4-0 right now as we're signing off. Bottom of the 6th, Philadelphia leads the Braves 4-0.
Again, and you actually got them moving on to the NLCS too.
Yeah, and I was this close to putting Arizona over the Brewers.
The Braves, you told me about that.
Yeah, but oh well. But yeah, I don't think no one in the National League wants a part of Philly. But
and they're on a roll. Zach Wheeler on a roll.
But like I'm looking at their stats, like from 1 through 6, they all have a hit. Where Realmuto and Castellanos being 5 and 6 have 2 hits each already. So it's just like that's a complete lineup right there too.
This is at Atlanta at Truist Park.
Yeah,
which is a great atmosphere too.
Oh.
Now we got breaking news. News. What do you got?
Zach Wheeler's throwing a no-hitter.
Damn, you just jinxed it.
Might be a perfect game. I haven't. No, he has. Let me see.
Walk.
Does he? Is a walk? Oh, perfect game.
If he doesn't get it, Angel jinxed it. Just saying right now.
It's all right.
Just saying right now. But follow us at Full Steam Ahead on X or Twitter, whatever the app is called. TikTok as well, Full Steam Ahead. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel. We've been getting a little bit of followers here and there. We got 1, 2 lately. So hey, continue to subscribe to us, listen to us. We appreciate you listening to us at our time. Threads. We're still there. Google Podcasts, Apple, and Spotify, the podcast platforms, wherever you get your podcasts at. But like we said, game 3, very crucial. Very, very crucial for the Astros. If the Astros could get game 3, there's a great chance they move on and win game 4. It just depends. If Minnesota could go into Houston and take one at the juice box, there's no way in heck that the Astros can't do it over there the same way in Target Field, which they played very well on the road the whole season in 2023. And then Sarah Langs even says 67% of the time that whoever gets the game, whoever had to split, the away team in game 1 and game 2. Usually game 3 and game 4, they are 67% of the time moving on to the ALCS. So if any team could do it, it's the Astros. Just saying. So till then, we'll give you that recap later on and maybe get that preview of game 4. But talk to y'all later.